No.
Okay, just to make sure.
Check.
Okay, we're going live now.
Okay. All right.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tesla Life number 211. And here we are at the 21st of July of 2021. A lot of 21s in that title and show thing. Welcome, everybody, to the show. And we've got a special show lined up for you tonight. We've got a special guest that has joined us. Rafael has joined us. He's guarding the logo. You can see he's keeping a hold of it. It's making sure it's not going anywhere. Rafael, of course, is from the Tesla Latino channel and Twitter feed. Feel free to follow him there. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hi, guys. How are you?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Good.
Very good. Also, our regular co-host, we have Mr. Casey Green joining us from the DC area. How are you today, sir?
It didn't get too hot today, thankfully.
Keeping cool. That's always good.
Absolutely.
And speaking of keeping cool, Mr. Patrick Connor, who really has to keep his cool because the Pacific Northwest is like a frying pan today.
No, it's not so bad today. I guess it's Montana that's getting hit. So, west is relative to where you are. So that's east of me. But
east of Patrick.
There certainly are some fires happening here in Oregon and in California. So the West Coast is maybe cool today, but still not a great haven yet.
Exactly. Well, I hope wherever you are, things are okay, and we will take about an hour of your time and kind of run through some interesting topics to maybe keep your mind off the heat. But today, of course, Rafael joins us, and Rafael has been with us previously. He came and visited us when he first started using FSD a number of months ago now. Mm-hmm. And Rafael is going to give us a little bit of an update as to how things are going with version 9.
And we were all supposed to have the download button and be able to have the same great experience as our friend Rafael here, but instead we have to invite him back and live vicariously.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Exactly.
And Hockey Day and Anders were in chat before we started. Hockey Day was holding up the room. He was making sure that everybody knew that we were coming.
Cool.
Very good. And we appreciate that, Hockey Day. And well, let's dive into this. Rafael, let's hear a little bit about what you have experienced. I saw your first video that you released at like 3 a.m. in the morning when this thing came out. Yeah. You and like another 20 YouTubers were on the road. Probably the police were wondering, what are these people doing going out at 3 a.m.? But what have been some of your impressions with the new version 9?
Well, the visualizations definitely changed. It gives you a more insight into what the car is seeing. No more boxy dots on the screen. It's more of a real visualization, just like all the other Teslas have when you see the screen where you see the traffic and cars around you and whatnot. You got some colors. Purple and yellow for the medians and red for the curbs, and a little path. That one's still kind of dots, the little path. But it's definitely nicer looking. that doesn't necessarily mean that it's an improvement on the behavior, but it does seem like it goes hand in hand with improvements. So I enjoy looking at that in my videos, because I usually try to not to look at that too much when I'm testing. Most of the people that do see my very humble small channel, when I publish videos of it, will notice that I don't have a ton of videos of FSDBeta when compared to other testers that are constantly, like almost on a daily basis, putting videos out. I have a very busy schedule and I do test a lot, but testing, recording, editing, putting it, like, it takes a lot of time. I like the images to look good, so I try to do 4K videos all the time. So that, especially when I have 2 or 3 cameras, it's going to take a lot of our space. So what I do a lot is testing without recording, and every now and then, when I turn on my cameras, I usually just publish what I recorded. Sometimes I don't, because of either I don't think it's valuable enough, or it could be misinterpreted too much. Maybe I forgot to do something, or I did something too much. So I just try to provide a real life feel for what it's like to be in my car with me. So sometimes I bring friends with me, and I have a couple of videos where you see, that I'm with someone in the car, or a couple of people in the car. I'm showing it to them, and I record those sessions, and I put them out however they come out, whether they are disengagements or not. So, but I definitely think that it's some areas are considerably better, and some areas are the same. I don't necessarily want to say that anything is worse, because I haven't experienced anything worse than what it was before, which to me is a big win, because there's no radar in use now. The code base doesn't leverage the radar, so it's pure vision, and you can see in the mind of car view, basically how Elon called it, that new visualization. When I zoom out, you can see beyond the line of visualizations. You still see vehicles, whether forward or on the side or even behind me. You can see a lot more. So I think the cameras are doing a great job.
So it's been explained, or some people have described it as the mind of the car. It almost provides you like a fuzzy view for what the car isn't quite sure about. And as it sees things that it is sure about, those images are more crisp. Yeah,
so that's in reference to the colors. So the few colors that are shown on the screen, and this is public information. I think Elon's the one that tweeted it. You see the intensity of the color. For example, all the curbs are red. There's a red line at the bottom on the sides of the car. And when that line is very, very solid, there's absolutely no doubt that the car's identifying it as a curb, as the edge of the road, meaning you don't go beyond that red line.
Would you happen to have a photo of one of your screens that would show some of these colors?
Yeah. Let me show you one of those here. So can you see that now?
Yes.
So you see the red line on the far right. That is the one that I'm referring to, and you see the path of the car in this kind of bluish greenish color, and then the purple line with the yellow is the median. So I have another photo here that I took. This is more. So this is actually at a Supercharger location that happens to have other like non-Tesla chargers, and this one you can see on the visualization that the line is a little bit dimmer, the red line, because it's a little bit far. So the closer you are to the line, the more solid it looks. So I'm thinking that that's just part of how it's programmed. And I think I have another one here. This one is at night. It's a little crooked. But yeah, you can see here on this one that the red line is super solid.
Yeah.
And then you see some double images here. That was just me moving my camera. So it's just, I took that picture with the phone.
Right.
But you see again the purple yellow line on the side, which is the median that divides both sides of the road.
How come the path of the car is different in these two previous photos as opposed to the blue-green dots?
Yeah, I don't know if it's because it's the night mode. So because it's darker background, now the line is white. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, if you see the other one when it's daylight, the background is brighter, right? It's white.
Yeah,
so,
I think you're right. That makes sense that they have to have contrast there. You need to see that line.
Yeah, exactly. So just the same here. Actually, you know what? This is so this is near the highway. So I don't know if there's a hybrid combination here because it's not the blue. Well, actually, I think here at the bottom, near the front of the car, I see two little blue dots, but the rest is like a gray line. But at the end of the day, what matters is that the car's identifying its environment, right? So whether it's with a dark background or a bright background on the visualization, it's just identifying everything that's around it. So yeah, I think this is a really awesome new build that I'm enjoying. It's sometimes it's stressful when you don't have experience because you don't know what to expect. But now that I've been using it since October of last year, I'm so used to it that I don't think twice about every time I go out, even if it's just less than a mile away, I just turn it on and I see it improving. There are some areas that still haven't improved, but I haven't seen anything that is worse. So to me, that's a really good sign.
Yeah, you didn't have to step back, definitely.
Especially changing the entire stack.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Mark, your sound's coming a little bit dim. I don't know if you can increase it or All right. I just saw it on the. I'm also looking at the YouTube comments and someone mentioned it. So yeah.
Good catch. Good catch.
I've got a question for you.
Go ahead.
So this is you have the version that does not have radar. And radar was one of the things that was often blamed for phantom braking. So since you've got this new version without radar, have you had any phantom braking incidents?
I have. I've shown it on my videos. Yeah, it is a lot less frequent. That's for sure. I haven't experienced a single phantom brake on the highway yet. And this past Sunday, so 3 days ago, I went on a 675-mile local state trip. I was doing some stuff with the family, so we went from where I live, which is, let's say, close to Miami in the south. We went to Central Florida, so between Ocala and Tampa. And it was a combination of, I probably put a few hundred miles on city streets, a couple hundred miles on the highway, and it was incredible. It was so good. Yeah.
Cool.
And I had my mother and my aunt in the car, so I would have never heard the end of it if it was terrible. So that's how I know. As a matter of fact, when we were about 45 minutes on the trip, I actually told them, because my mom's like, she doesn't like me to use the autopilot when she's in the car at first, and now she's like used to it. And this time I didn't even mention it. And when we were like 45 minutes into the drive, I said, by the way, I haven't been driving for the past, since we left the house. And she's like, no, you're kidding. Oh my God, I didn't know. So it's a good sign, honestly. I think that's great. So
exactly. Well, it indicated that there are some areas where you've seen an improvement. What are some of those areas?
I'm sorry, say that again.
You had indicated that you've seen some improvement in some areas. What areas have you identified that have gotten that improvement?
The one thing that I think I like the most is how assertive the car feels. I mean, it just doesn't, when it goes, and it takes the turns perfectly. The first couple of days, I have to admit that it was taking really wide turns. But interestingly enough, it never did it when there were other cars. So I think if it had room, it just kind of felt like it owned the road, and it would almost take it way too wide, because it was just too wide for my taste, to the point where it was like really close to the line, or almost going into the opposite lane. But it never happened when there were cars. If there were cars, it wouldn't even like go right, or go closer to the inside of the turn, which is really cool, because that means that it's doing everything in a safe manner. So yeah, I think that would be the one thing that I think I see the most improvement, the way that it actually doesn't hesitate as much as it used to. But I have seen other testers' videos that show a different experience than the ones that I'm having. So I think a lot of it has to do with the conditions of the road, the traffic around you. So the environment has some impact to that. But overall, I mean, my experience has been great. And sometimes I wish I could show more of the wrong stuff, because sometimes people tell me, oh, you're curating the content, you're editing it so that it looks good. And I was like, the only edit that I do to my videos is that I have two cameras. I have to sync them so that if one's pointing at me and the other one's pointing at the road, then when I speak, it's not out of sync. So I make sure that they are synchronized. But that's the extent of it. You will see that there's no cuts in any of my videos. I show what I record as I record it. So yeah,
That's cool.
I think it has a ways to go. This is a very difficult problem to solve, but I think they're on the right track. And this is not my profession, even though I am a trained race car driver and I have high performance driving experience. This is not what I do for a living. I work in technology. I work testing software, building software, and doing integrations between systems. This is something that I do on my spare time. And I even though this is not my profession, I'm very enthusiastic about it, to the point where I actually study what it means to be an operator as a profession, and I'm not in that profession, right? I even applied last year to Mobileye to see if they would let me test, their technology, but I never heard anything from them. So I own a Tesla, and I got lucky that I was selected to provide feedback. So I'm doing what I can to help the cause. If I can help other systems as well, I'll do it, because it's going to, at the end of the day, it's gonna help everyone be safer on the road. So.
Exactly. Well, maybe we should let people know, like, you're in South Florida.
I am.
And the road conditions in South Florida, unlike something like New York or San Francisco, the roads are they fairly wide open? You've got a lot of space in the roads, or are you testing in many different conditions that you can find in South Florida?
I do. I test wherever I can, but anything that's close to me is not very complicated, very complex. It's urban, normal areas with a lot of high traffic on rush hour.
Yeah.
It does rain a lot here, like in Florida. It seems like it rains every other 15 minutes. So I do a lot of driving under inclement weather, and to my surprise, the car does amazingly well. Sometimes I get the message that, like, navigate on autopilot will be disabled because of the weather or whatever, something like that. But it still does it. So I'm not sure if it's just like a precaution so that you are more attentive. I haven't had it just fail to the point where like I have to deactivate it. So that's good. And now without the use of the radar, even though my car has the radar, it's not supposed to be in use, especially for places where snows and stuff like that. Now, as long as the cameras have a clear view, I think it's going to be great. And, you can do hydrophobic coating on the camera so that nothing sticks to them. So the wind just washes out anything that falls on them. I think they thought very, very well what they were doing. That's my experience.
Yeah, I wasn't going to ask you anything about snow driving, so don't worry.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Although I did spend a winter in New York when it was like 12 degrees and it was pretty bad, but the car had no problems with the autopilot. So
okay, all right, yeah. So the you indicated that you didn't find that the car really took any steps backwards when it came to any of the options that you had tested previously in the previous 7.5 months, but there were a couple of options like the turning that seemed to take a step forward.
Yeah.
With that in mind, has there been any other things that you thought were improved based on your previous testing? Was there another category maybe, or
there's one thing that I also like a lot, which is before, say you're stopped at a red light and the cars in front of you start moving, the car it would move, but to my taste it was a little bit too slow to start moving. And now it's like a fraction of a second after the car moves in front of you, it goes. Like I think I even saw it creeping up a little bit when the light turned green and the car in front of me had not moved yet. I think I felt like the car creeped a little bit, just waiting for the other car to go. I may be mistaken, but I think that happened. And if it happened, it's on one of my videos. So I think that's really good because the people behind you, they don't get impatient. That's like really awesome.
That's a very human behavior to do that, and often that's the indicator the car ahead of you needs, so they stop looking at their phone and actually go.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so far I have to say that, and this is very different to some of the previous builds that I had. I haven't really had any like very scary situations or anything like that would be so bad that I'm not prepared for it. So yeah, I cannot think of anything that was like a really scary moment with the current build. And like I said, I mean, I go to the grocery store and I turn it on even though it's like right across the corner. Like I turn it on to go to the mailbox if I can. Yeah. So,
do all the testing you can.
Exactly.
I do, and I send feedback when things that need attention. I send feedback to Tesla, both in the car there's a little camera icon that you push on it, and it sends a snapshot of the moment before, during, and after whatever happened, so that they can see what was the deal and they get the data as well. So I send them, sometimes I really want them to pay attention to one of my reports. I send them the coordinates, the description of what happened, and just making sure that they are aware of it. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work. If you're going to like do it properly, you have to, for every say 15 minutes that you spend in the car doing its thing, you could spend twice as much just writing down the details and if you really want to report something well. So I try to do my part.
So with that reporting, not only can you press a button on the screen and record where the activity happened that you questioned it, but is there something in the app, or are you writing up an email and sending it to a person that that receives these?
Yeah, no, I send an email to the team that manages it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm saying this because it's common knowledge now. It's out there since last October. People know that we report and communicate with the AV team. So, and we're not the only ones doing this. There's a very small group of people that people see what we're doing, but there's a lot more qualified, dedicated Tesla employees that are doing this. Like, this is not, Rafael is not, making the world better on its own or anything like that. It's like, I'm just helping wherever I can,
Yeah, but that is the point of this program, is for them to seek this feedback and to use it to iterate and make improvements. So yeah, giving them that feedback is exactly why this exists.
Yeah, I don't really like to come up with a plan to test. I'm going here a lot. I do it, but it's not like my main thing. It's not like some people do that, and it's great that they do it. But I was told, just go about your day, do whatever you need to do, just use it, and if anything interesting happens, let us know. And they gave us some guidelines, and it's just real world. What I provide is real world usage, right? So, there are places where people don't know how to go through intersections, and they go around. I don't see a problem with the car doing the same thing to be safe. And sometimes it does that, Sometimes I go, why is it giving me this route? And then when I think about it, I was like, oh, because it would need to do a U-turn on this tight place. Maybe that's why it's not doing it. I'm making that up, but maybe that's the reason why. So, however it improves, I welcome it,
Yeah. Being from South Florida, have you ever taken the car to the shoreline, to the beach? Have you ever seen FSD on the beach? Like, I know people in Daytona sometimes drive on the beach.
The closest I've been to the actual beaches, sometimes I go to Miami Beach, South Beach, and actually, I think since version 9, I haven't been down to South Beach, but 2 days before, I did go to South Beach, and I had version 8.2, as people call it. And actually, I had a couple of people with me in the car, and the car took us from a restaurant where we were eating to the hotel of, you know her, Joy from the Tesla Joy YouTube channel. Yep. So I actually let her record the drive. I told her, yeah, I feel confident that you'll enjoy the ride, and she pulled out her phone, and was it her phone? No, maybe it was my phone, and I gave her the video. The car took us all the way, and there was a construction site, and it had to merge, so that there was 2 lanes that merged into one with just those orange containers. And the car did it like a champ, and then there was some sketchy situations, and the car worked perfectly. Mind you, this was the previous version, not 9.
Right.
But from what I've experienced already, because I've gone through a couple of those situations already, I don't think it would have had a problem with this one. Maybe I'll just go do the same area during the weekend.
There you go. Lining up some new places to go. Yeah. Very cool. And the other thing that you mentioned was that in the previous version, you found it a little bit, I guess, hesitant in some situations where the drivers behind you would notice. Talk a little bit about that. Whether there's a difference. You indicate there is a difference in hesitancy, but what's been your experience with other drivers that have come up on you with you using FSDBeta? Have you seen any? Obviously you'll see some people, fly off the handle because they feel you're not paying attention, you're going too slow, or what's been your experience with other drivers?
Well, that happens here whether you're driving or the car's driving you.
Florida.
Yeah. We are in Florida, and we get a lot of people from outside Florida. People blame things on the Florida man. And what they don't realize is that people that don't live here come here to do atrocities, and then they go back home.
So it's really Florida Visitor. Okay, I got
Yeah,
it.
exactly. No, I mean, people drive like maniacs here. And yeah, but I wouldn't say that I've had any situation where anyone has been like, I think I may have had a honk horned at me once or twice since October while I was on the FSD drive. But that's basically what I was referring to. Before, I would not have to disengage, but have to kind of nudge it a little bit so that it would, hey, go. Path is clear, just go. So I find myself doing that a lot less now. So I think that's a good sign. Sometimes it may take a little bit longer than I wish, but it's not a frequent. Before it was doing it more. So
you can press the accelerator and it stays engaged, right?
it stays engaged, but it's considered an intervention, right? So
Okay.
anytime that you intervene, that's a signal that they receive. So when I get back home and the car starts sending data and videos, it includes anything. I think
All
maybe
input is error.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be able to consider a technology like this one fully autonomous, then we should not need to provide any input. But the cool thing about this is that I am not testing a fully autonomous technology. I'm testing a level 2 driver assistance that is called FSD, which is going to prepare their system to become fully autonomous in the future. So
Yes.
Yeah, jump from 2 to 5 in one swoop at some point.
I don't. That's a stretch. I think that's a very big stretch. I think it's going to be in increments to the point where the car may actually be able to do everything on its own. But to be on the safe side, maybe it's not going to be offered as that. And this is me speculating. That's how I would do it, and I hope it's the approach, because I mean, it's so like I spent literally I left my house at 8:15 a.m. on Sunday, and I was back home at like 10:30 p.m. I spent the entire day and the entire night basically in the car. I only got out the car. I probably spent maybe 2 hours of the entire day outside my car, because I was visiting family and dropping people off and whatnot. And when I got home, I took a shower and I went to watch some TV. It's not like I spend the entire day in the car and then had to crash because I was so tired. I used autopilot on the highway and on city streets the entire day. So I wasn't tired at all. I don't have to do those micro movements. I just needed to pay attention to the road in case the car did anything less than ideal, That's it.
Okay.
So my car right now, on the last 3-4 versions of the public builds, it's been having trouble with flashing yellow lights, like at a fire station or a school zone. How does the beta perform around those situations?
Yeah, that's actually on my first drive that night. There's two flashing yellow lights, and I thought the first time it was subtle, and then I think the second one was a little bit too much, and that's the one that I reported. After that, the only thing I've seen is a little bit of a slowdown, not that rough, like hard braking or anything like that. But I don't feel comfortable saying that doesn't happen anymore. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen again.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is that when it does happen, my foot's always on the pedals.
Yeah.
And as soon as the car starts to do something like that, I change it. If I don't have to touch the brake, I don't disengage, but I can accelerate if the car starts to slow down too much for that. Yeah. Then when it does that, I report it, and I either if I'm recording, I have the timing, and if not, I make a note to myself. I activate my voice recorder on the phone, and I say, at this time this happened. at this location. And then I can, when I get home, I can write that information down on a note so I can send it over just in case they need it.
Yeah, because what I'm finding is, particularly at the fire station, sometimes it will, like you said, slow down a little bit and figure it out and keep going.
Mhm.
Other times it'll try to stop in the road, and it's not an actual yellow light, even though it's doing this. It doesn't mean stop. It just means, hey, this might turn red if there's a fire.
Yeah, I think it's doing what it needs to do right now for the feedback that we're supposed to give it, so that they can do the adjustments.
Cool.
Because I've had the most of what I've had is the good experience, where it kind of either it doesn't do anything wrong, like it just goes, it's just careful, or slows down a little bit, right? So I think that's acceptable.
Yeah, caution's acceptable, but
Mhm.
stopping is not.
Stopping is not, exactly.
And it's kind of cool that pressing the accelerator doesn't disengage it, but obviously that probably automatically goes to Tesla as well, right?
It does.
That you did something, therefore it records it, and that becomes an anomaly for the FS team to look at.
And then when they see the email come in, then they're like, "Oh, that's something he felt strongly about as well. So let's look into it, right?"
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we try to. I try to not, for example, get impatient if the car makes a stop, and like I don't push it to go too quick, because otherwise then the test is not valid. Like the car was probably going to do the right thing by doing a full stop. That's what a stop is, right?
Yeah.
So if you override that behavior, then they're gonna get a false positive as a signal of an issue, right?
Yeah.
Now if the car stops and it won't go, then I nudge it, and it just takes a nudge. Like you just tap the accelerator. You don't have to actually accelerate. You just kind of, hey, come on, let's hey, let's go.
Yeah.
And it goes. They do get that. So.
And then it's kind of interesting that that as we get closer, and you indicate that we are a long way off. Well, like that's not a surprise. I think anyone watching this can see that it's a progression, that things get better and better over time. It doesn't just come in one foul swoop. But what do you think about opening it up to the public by just pressing a button? They can download it and start using it like that. It kind of worries me because I'm looking at, we've got someone that's actually taking this task seriously. You're recording this stuff. You're trying to find situations. You report on it. But man, if we allow the public, that anyone that has a Tesla car, to download it, I think we have to be a lot further up the FSD chain before we allow that, because as we all know, there's a lot of people that just do not pay attention to anything.
The backseat bandit.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's idiots like that guy that got arrested for using regular autopilot as if it were autonomous. I would never dare to do that, even with what I have.
Yeah.
So there's two things. I have two answers for that. One of them is that I actually think, even though there's a lot of stuff that still needs to be fixed at the rate that they could improve it, maybe when we least expect it's going to be sudden and it works. Wishful thinking, maybe, but I think it's a possibility. Now, personally, I think that wider availability may be closer than a lot of people think. But I'd like to clarify why I say that, because people think that I'm crazy because of what you just said, Mark, right? If a lot of people get it and they're not prepared for it because it's as jumpy as it is for me sometimes, then people are going to have issues, complaints, or even worse, maybe a small accident. So what I think, the reason why I think that it may be closer than most people think, is that I believe that it is good enough if they make a public release that could be toned down a little bit in terms of some of the things that it does. so that it's as safe as what enhanced autopilot is right now on the highway. That is my take on it. I think we could be closer than a lot of people think, because I strongly believe that Tesla has the ability to do that. Now, if they don't have the ability to do that and it's all or nothing, then that's different. Maybe it's not going to happen soon. My issue with that is that I'm actually, believe it or not, I don't want to be as exclusive of having it. I want everyone to have it. So, but I can't decide. Like, if it were up to me, I would only release it if there's a way of making sure that that it's not going to be a problem. But at the same time, because I have good friends that completely disagree with this that I just said, and I still consider them good friends, and they say if you can do it, anyone can do it. True, I'm not a savant of FSD, but but that's not the point. The point is that there's people that will start using it and start doing their makeup, or doing some whatever manly the guy wants to do, and not paying attention because the car is driving, say using the text messages or whatever. Like, when I'm doing this, I'm not even like looking at the screen. Like, only if I can, I look at the screen. I'm paying attention to the road and making sure that the car, I do monitor the screen, but not as like, oh my God, look, that's this or that's that, and it's great. I have a video for that. I can go back to the video and watch everything. But the highest priority for me is to definitely pay attention to the road and making sure that I'm not getting too close to anything or anyone.
Yeah,
like when you're training a new driver, you're making sure that they aren't trying to kill you both.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I must say is that not that I'm surprised, because I expect it, but it's impressive how safe it's trying to be in most occasions. As a matter of fact, I think it's erring on the side of caution more than not, because I've seen it being extremely careful around people, especially. And then I have actually been very successful with non-protected turns, left turns. It's nerve-wracking because the car gets what seems to be very close to the oncoming traffic, for example. But then I look at it on the video, and I was like, wait, that was pretty much the way I would have done it. But I think there's something in the back of our minds that says, I'm not doing it. The car could do this thing wrong and whatever, and you're on edge all the time. So I think there's a psychological factor there.
Like the parent with the fake brake pedal on the passenger side.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to also cover the sky with my hand, and it can be wrong. It can kind of creep up too much, and you've probably seen it on some videos. I just don't experience it as much. I just think it's very scary when you are not the one controlling the motions. I did a meetup with the Tesla Owners South Florida Club on last Saturday, so 4 days ago. And I actually invited our club members to take a ride with me, and they made a line and they came with me. No one pulled the phone, no one was recording. I just wanted them to see it, experience it, and see how it went. And that's exactly how it was. I came up with a loop where I went out of the Supercharger location where we were, and then we went around a couple of blocks and then came back. And the same route, the car basically did it differently every single time. Most of the times were perfect. There were some instances, for example, where the car stopped a little bit too early where there was a stop sign. I consider that being extra safe, but wrong. So I reported it. But nothing that I would say like, I think there was one instance where I actually did disengage it, but I think it was my fault because I was in the middle of a navigation route and I gave it another navigation as I was still approaching the end of the previous one. So the car was kind of beginning to do its final moves, and I gave it the new thing. And when it loaded, it kind of wanted to go the other way. So that was totally my fault. But there were no cars around us. So yeah, it's an adventure every day when you're on it. There's a very, very well-known Tesla community member that took a ride with me, and 5 minutes into it said, like, you know what? I thought everyone should have it. I changed my mind. I think this is great that you're doing it, but this is not ready. And if you think about it, being safe is better than being sorry. So unfortunately, my friend is advocating for everyone to get it or no one. So people change their minds. And I respect it, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. We have no control. Tesla's the one in control. So
I'd have to say, watching your videos and others, I don't think I could do it. Like I watch it, and I understand what you said about you're watching everything outside the car. You're trying to make sure that the car is doing what you expect it to do. And you're there to monitor that and make sure that if you had to grab the wheel or press the pedal, you're available to do so immediately. And especially that left unprotected turn, I'm watching the car do it, and I'm nervous for the person that's on the video. Like I'm watching it and I'm going, I feel nervous just watching this video, let alone being in the car by myself. I don't think I would be a good candidate to do it. I certainly would like to try it, but I don't think I would want to do what you're doing today in the last 7.5 months. My hat's off to you for doing what you're doing. It's an incredible job that a number of people are doing, but again, that's fantastic that you can do this and help the community. And we certainly here at the Tesla Life, and I'm sure all others appreciate your effort here.
Yeah, I mean, I do. One thing that I don't do is I don't let go of the wheel. I don't let it nag me. If the car nags me, it's because I'm holding the wheel, not producing enough weight by mistake, which I hardly do, or it's actually taking a turn. So sometimes I try to avoid it, but being safe, I always kind of you can hear the wheel rubbing against my hand when it's turning because I don't want to hold it. Otherwise, I'm going to disengage
you'll
it.
Disengage it. Yeah.
But you can sometimes hear on the videos. You can hear the it's kind of rubbing on my hand because I'm not going to let the car just go wild. It's not like it's gonna go whoop, flashing.
There've been times where mine, like I keep my hand on the wheel. Sometimes it doesn't think my hand is there, but there've been times where I'm on the road and it pulls hard, and like I just close my hand and it drops out of autopilot, and you correct it and pop it back on. I imagine that behavior is still there, just even more unpredictable.
Yeah, and so there's so many different situations. For example, and someone's asking on the chat, how does it handle the potholes? And I have seen the car avoid potholes.
Oh, nice.
Really?
Yes, but I have also seen it not noticing them. So
a little bit of both, huh?
yeah, so I think it's hit or miss. I remember that in one of my drives there was there's always a thunderstorm or something here in South Florida. So sometimes there's like palm tree branches that are on the road. And I remember clearly, just as if it was today, and this was a few months ago, the car actually slowed down and went around a palm tree branch piece that fell from the palm tree, right? And I was surprised because the car had never done that before. When it has the right of way and there's a car parked like a UPS truck or a FedEx truck, it goes perfectly around them. It's I've even gone in between cars that it's kind of tight and the mirrors fold.
Oh, awesome.
I mean, how? I mean, it's mind blowing when that happens.
Well, let me ask, with the palm tree, have you ever had it drive over a palm tree during a storm?
It has driven over branches and papers and things that are on the road,
Yeah.
like you would normally do. But I have seen it avoiding things, and they used to show us like the little boxes.
Yep.
So in this new build, I don't think I've had like debris on the road to avoid. So if I see it, I'll make a note of it. Yeah, for sure.
Very good. Very good. Well, guys, Casey, do you see any other questions in the chat area? You can take a look. And while we do that, Patrick, any other questions to wrap up?
Just a lot of envy, jealousy. That's all. I really want to try this.
Where are you?
I'm in Oregon.
A little bit far, but I would give you a ride. But
yeah, it's a little far from
you
Florida,
couldn't
Oregon.
be further from Patrick as you are right now.
Right. Yes. You and I are the two farthest apart here on the panel.
Yeah. I mean, if there's any of the public FSD testers in your area and you want to hook up with them, let me know, and I'll probably try to hook you up with them.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. That's great to know. Yeah.
I don't know if they're comfortable with doing it. I do it all the time. So, yeah. I wish I could give rides to everyone. Because so far it's been pretty good.
I can't even cross the border. I am stuck here in Canada.
Maybe I'll drive my car over to Canada soon.
Actually, we're opening the gates up to double-vaxxed Americans as of August the 9th.
Oh, I heard that they might do that soon. I didn't know there was a date. Cool.
But America's not opening up its border to Canadians until the end of August. So we got to wait a little bit longer. But Americans can come to Canada if you're double vaxxed as of the 9th of August.
Is that final? Like for sure, at the end of August, Canadians can come to United States?
That was just announced today. I heard it on NBC News. So it's great. It's new news.
I have friends that are planning on coming in during the fall.
It should be good based on that. Based on the end of August, America will be opened up to Canadians and Mexicans. They're opening both borders at the same time.
Unless, of course, the Delta variant goes crazy, and then those plans will change.
yes, exactly.
Okay. Well, I hope everyone's safe. Stay healthy. Because it's hard, right? We don't see friends. I remember, Mark, you and I bump into each other by coincidence during road trips, which is nuts. In Arizona. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a coincidence.
That was amazing. Yes, indeed. I could not believe that actually happened. But he and I were both on the road heading to Southern California, and sure enough, unannounced, bumped into each other just outside of Phoenix.
That purple car.
That was my previous multicolored Tesla Model 3 long range rear-wheel drive.
That's right.
Yeah. You still have the red car, right?
Still got the red car. Absolutely.
Okay.
Casey, was there any questions that you noticed?
No fresh ones, no.
Okay. Very good.
Did we cover what was the scary moments?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right.
Very good. Well, we're bumping up to an hour now, or just about an hour. Again, we'd like to thank Rafael for spending his precious time with us. He is running at both ends. He's got a candle burning at both ends. Regular job, Tesla tester, and trying to make videos for his channel and talk to dopes like us to learn a little bit more about what's going on in the world of version 9 FSD.
Yeah, well, it's been a pleasure with you guys, for sure.
Thank you so much. Well, with that, Rafael, where can people find your channel and connect with you with the stuff you're doing?
If anyone wants to directly talk to me, the easiest way would be through Twitter at Teslatino. You can just DM me. My DMs are open unless you're annoying.
Get mine.
and even then, I don't, unless my DMs are open. Let's leave it like that. And then definitely, if you want to see my videos, you can go to my YouTube channel, Teslatino. If you want to see even more content and you happen to speak Spanish, you can go to Teslatino Español. That's my Spanish channel, which is also small. I am not a YouTuber. I mean, I don't make my living with that. I'm even a YouTuber as much as anyone that grabs a camera and records anything. So I do appreciate spending time with people from the Tesla community and overall trying to help out the Tesla mission, which is, to push forward the advent of sustainable energy. And that's my mission. I just add one more thing to the end of the mission, which is while having fun. So to push
good one.
To push towards a sustainable energy future while having fun. That's my motto.
Excellent.
So Coach DA asks about the FSD logic. Does it slow at a merge for a car that enters without yielding? He wishes that Tesla would fix this and make the car accelerate past it. Mine does it for 2-3 cars at a time. It's like, whoa, just keep going.
No, it does. I have experienced so what I think the way it works is that now if you are ahead, I think half a car ahead the other car, it'll keep going. If it's behind, half a car or more behind, then it slows down, but it doesn't jam on the brakes. It just kind of slows down and lets the other car merge, and it continues. I actually experienced that last Saturday when I did my 600 and I think it was like 675 miles road trip. And I experienced it a couple of times. I used to always force the car to go to the far left lane to get away from the merging lane so that I didn't have to deal with that, but I decided to stop doing that. So now I let it do whatever it's going to do. And so far it's been really good. So, and actually I know we said our goodbyes, but the highway FSD is now using the same code base as on city streets. So it's pure vision on the highway with the new code base. So there are improvements. I can bet money on that. There are improvements, and I'm not making it up. It's not private information that I cannot disclose. Elon tweeted it, and I confirmed it. So it's really good that now, at the end of the day, it's going to be one code base to rule them all. So and I don't want to leave. I just saw the question from someone that was asking about high beams engaging and disengaging. So now if the autopilot is active, it's not optional. It automatically activates the high beams, right? Like the ability to engage or disengage high beams as it thinks it needs to. It's part of the functionality now. However, you can disable it. But by default, when you activate, if it's nighttime, when you activate FSD, it will include automatic high beams as necessary, and you cannot turn on automatic wipers. It will that you cannot turn off. You will always have that active while you're on autopilot with FSD. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Cool.
Obviously, that connects with its ability for the system to see at any time. It needs that brightness. It needs that windshield clear when it requires it. So, interesting.
Exactly.
So see it wash the window on its own too.
Exactly. So go check out Teslatino on YouTube if you want to check out my videos, and if you like what you see, click subscribe. Just like you should subscribe to the guys here, because they have really good content, and they're a very important part of the Tesla community. So,
well, thank you very much. Patrick, any shout outs for this evening?
Sure. I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org, and I blog occasionally at that place, carswithcords.net. And I wanted to say this now. Last time I didn't get to say it, so we are here. And thank you for covering for me. Yes, to try to bring about a future free from fossil fuels.
Very good, very good. Casey,
Well, having fun. Why
having fun? You can add that to the end. Yeah. Casey, any parting words for us tonight?
Yeah, I'm almost finished with my latest deep dive video, and they'll be over at youtube.com/CaseyGreen. And it's not as exciting as FSD, but this is what everybody else has in their car. So you can see me look for all the hidden stuff, because cold weather changes is not all that was in there.
True.
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
Well, if you're watching the video to this point, please give us a thumbs up, a subscribe if you haven't already. That helps the channel and helps us out, and we would certainly appreciate it. And with that, we will roll the final music and catch up with you next week and find out what's going on in the Tesla life. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Stay positive. Test negative.